Hi Flosstube, I'm Kayla, the Hufflepuff Stitcher, and welcome to my channel. I'm joined today by Luna, who is currently sleeping on my lap there, but she has her head sticking out so you can actually see her. And I believe Zelda is still curled up in the bed. It's a rainy day, so it's going to be a little dark. I'm trying to get this video done before the storm really moves in, and it gets ridiculously dark. So, this week, what I've got for you are an update on my whips, including a finish. And I've got my plans for this coming week, and then we've got our winner for the giveaway. So jumping right in. This past week in the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, what we had to do was brew a potion for the Yule Ball. And what this potion did was it made sure that your date only had eyes for you and wasn't looking at anyone else. So the way that this worked was there were 5 different ingredients, and each of those ingredients were an element. Now, each of these elements also had a color associated with them, and then some various attributes per element that you could use to help fit your projects in to get the stitches done. And each of them had to do 200 stitches for. So, what I've got. The first project that I did was Liberty's Lights by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and I used this both for the element water and for the element fire. And I did the water because the 4th of July is community. It's when the whole community comes together to watch the fireworks, cook out outside, go to parades, etc. And then the fire because the 4th of July literally has fireworks, which are fire. And then bravery as well was one of the attributes for the people who were brave enough to fight for the country's independence. So I'll insert my picture here of where I was last time. And I got a finish on it. It is done. So I finished it in time for the 4th. Now I just have to FFO this. The only change that I made in this was to outline the white letters here, and that was just so you could see them. I had hand dyed this fabric, and where the letters happened to fall on there was more of a white patch, so it was really hard to see those letters. Like to put it in perspective, the border here is red, white, red, white. So you can see how hard it is to see some of those white spots, although I promise it is easier to see in person than it's coming across on camera. But I just really wanted to make sure that you could read what the word was supposed to say. So I did outline that. I'm not going to bother with outlining the white spots on the border just because it's around the edging and it really doesn't make a difference as to what the message of the pattern says. Yeah, so just need to FFO this at some point this week and then hopefully get it on my little thing over here on the table. My little mini Priscilla style finish with my washers and magnets. My husband actually did go out and buy me my own little bucket of washers. That way I wasn't stealing his out of his workshop. Good husband right there, right? So the next part that I did for the homework this week was for the attributes of earth and wood. So the attribute earth had to do with ambition. So the way I went with this is that it's like my ambition, it's my goal to visit each of the 50 states. So I worked on my Pretty Little Hawaii by Satsuma Street. And then I also did this one for wood because one of the attributes for the element wood was warmth. Now I will preface this with I did not complete the stitches for both of those elements just because real life this week, I did not have a chance to complete the homework. We had a really busy, stressful week. So, either way though, whether I get the points or not, I still got some. So I did get one of them completely finished, and I only partially finished the other element, and I don't remember which I counted as what because it's in the same pattern. So, here's where I was last time. And this is how far I got. So I got to start here on, I believe it's a hotel, and then up here in some of the mountains, the darker patches of the mountains, and then some of the beach as well, some of the sand. It actually shows up pretty good on there. I haven't finished the beach completely yet, but regardless, I got progress made on my project. Pretty happy with that. And I do love this. This project just makes me smile. Such warm, happy memories. The last attribute that we had to do, or the last element, sorry, that we had to do was air, and the attribute for that one was patience. So I figured, what shows patience better than working on my Haid? Now this one I also did not get to complete just because real life happens, but I did get at least a few stitches in. So I can say that I made some progress on this project. May not get stitches, or may not get points, but that's okay. It's made up points in a made up game. So here's where I was last time on my mini loyalty. And this is how far I got. So I was able to start filling in some of the crest up there. I would guesstimate maybe 75 stitches or so. So not quite the 100, or the 200, sorry. I don't believe I've completed even 100 on this for this week's portion of stuff, but I did get a pretty good start on there. So I'm happy with that. I'll take what I can get. And that's really what I worked on last week. Seeing as how I didn't finish the magical stitches stuff, I certainly did not go into the Stitchy quest to destroy the One Ring. Mini brain fart. And I know I only had that one singular stitch left to do, but really that would have to be an entire length of floss. And really I could have counted that as I'm sure something in here, but I just didn't. So Stitchy quest, I can make that up whenever I want, whenever I've got a week where I've got more time. Oh, and then this week as well. This one I did not count toward anything, which upon reflecting on that, I probably should have counted for Stitchy quest. But my new office project is my bookmark that I got from Emma Cross Stitch. Thank you again, Emma. So this is what it looks like. I obviously don't have a before picture because I hadn't worked on it before. But that is how far I got. So I was able to get quite a bit of stitching in between kids this week. Not too shabby. And for anybody out there who has a kit that comes with like all the threads in there, but you don't have an actual thread holder, I took some junk mail that showed up at the house and cut like a little strip off and then hole punched and just wrote the numbers, which I didn't want to write on this little green part, so I don't know if the green ink is different somehow. Excuse me. But I can still tell what it is. So, junk mail. Put it to use. Might as well be good for something other than just throwing in the recycling bin. And that is all that I've worked on this past week. So looking ahead to this week in the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, we are at the end of the year. And of course, at the end of this year is when the books really take a turn and get dark. Like, they get dark. It's no longer a children's book. It turns more into a teen book. So there are quite a few different prompts, and they don't necessarily follow a story of sorts. It's more just all the different things that have happened at the end of the year. So each of these tasks, you have to do either 100 or 200 stitches, depending on the task. And I am going to say, I know this coming week is going to be another stressful week of real life stuff. So I'm not even looking at the Stitchy Quest. Sorry for everyone who's in Stitchy Quest, but I can make that up whenever. So that's not the top of my priority list right now. What we've got to do is, for this week, the first thing to do has to do with Harry and Cedric reaching the goblet at the exact same time, the Triwizard Trophy. So since they reach it at the same time, you know, they get whizzed into the graveyard because it's a port key, and spoilers if you haven't read the books that have been out for years. So we need to stitch on two things that are touching. And what I will be doing for that, if I can get the picture out, Of course, I did not print off a cover photo. I'll hold it way back. But this is for the Pumpkinville sale. This is the June block, which we're at the end of the month and I haven't finished the June block yet. So I'm trying to get stitches in on this. But for 2 things touching, I said this girl who's sitting here, she's touching her corn dog. She's touching the Hail of Bay. Looks like the boy in the ticket booth is touching the booth itself. So 2 things touching right there. For this one, we have to do 200 stitches. So hoping to get that in on that. And then if I happen to have time for extra credit at all, I'm going to be working on this block to try and get it done before the month of July starts. We also, because Voldemort attacked at the end of the year, or at the end of the tournament, we have to do, 200 stitches on the color black or gray. So I think I got a Luna hair in my eye here. Whew, that didn't feel good. Okay, you guys get to deal with watery eye now. Sorry. For this one, I will be working on my giant Harry Potter. And I'll be doing this one because all of these spells around the border are being done in black. And where I'm at in the pattern, I don't know how well this is going to show, but it's right up there. So I've got the diary, I've got the, I believe it's Slytherin prefix. Yeah, it looks like Draco, and then probably Tom Riddle would be my guess. But they're done in 310 for the vast majority of their body. So that should get me plenty of black stitches done. I will also be working on this pattern for the joke shop because Harry donates all of his winnings that he got during the Triwizard Tournament. He won 1,000 galleons. He gave that to Fred and George Weasley as a startup for Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes. So we had to work on a pattern that makes us laugh. And all these little people and all these little motifs, I love it. It brings a smile to my face every time I work on it. And just trying to figure out what some of these little things are in the vast collection of the Harry Potter world. Like, here, let's see if I can. If anybody knows what that little motif is supposed to be, let me know. I'm going to guess it's some type of candy, but I'm not sure. It's not a sweater, because round sweater is further up, the Weasley sweater. I just have no idea what it is, but it makes me smile, and I love trying to puzzle it out, and I'm hoping that by the time I get to that little motif, I'll actually figure out what it is while I'm stitching on it. So, it is in my plans to make some progress on this. Yeah, so for Voldemort attack, we need to do 200 in the gray and black. For the joke shop, we need to do 100 stitches. The next one is a project that you needed help with in some way, shape, or form. And this is because Harry's parents, when they come out of Voldemort's wand, they help him to escape from Voldemort. So for this one, I will be working on my baby feet pattern, which again, this is one that I only have the pattern for, so I'll hold it way back here. But this is a dimensions kit. I'm doing this as a little birth announcement sampler thing for my sister's soon-to-be son, her new baby that's coming. And I said I needed help on this because I used up the kit stuff long ago, so I needed help from my husband on what threads to use. What color did he think would look good? So, what can I say? My husband actually has really good taste when it comes to colors and what looks good and what doesn't look good, and he would never admit it, but he does. He's good. So we need to do 200 stitches on that, which I need to get going on this anyways because her baby is due in August, but it's looking like she may be having him sooner. To meet little Malachi. Okay, the last one that I actually have a pattern for is for Mad-Eye Moody's Deceit, because Mad-Eye Moody is not the real Mad-Eye Moody. So it's really, spoiler alerts, Barty Crouch Jr., who's been taking the Polyjuice Potion all year. So we need to stitch on one of the ingredients for the Polyjuice Potion. And one of those happens to be hair. You need hair or some type of like DNA from the person you're turning into. So I'm choosing to work on hair, and I will be working on Gigi's hair. And I'm thinking this one should go pretty quick because it's all 310, which really I could do for the Voldemort assignment too, but I want to work on my Harry Potter. And I don't want to try and figure out in the Harry Potter one how many stitches is 100 in hair, or this is just like one glorious chunk of hair. So I will be doing 200 stitches on that. There should be 200 there, right? If not, maybe I will add some for the Harry Potter. Now I'm thinking about it. I never counted it out to see how many there actually are, like how many stitches of hair. And then the last thing for this week is to stitch on something that has a graveyard or a tombstone or something like that. Luna is slipping off my lap. I do not currently have any projects that have a tombstone or a graveyard or anything like that. I do have the, was it Just Cross Stitch magazine from last year, the Halloween? One of those brands. I've got the Halloween magazine. It's got patterns in there that do have a tombstone that I could do if I really wanted to, but I'm not starting something new just for that. I've got enough projects going right now. Yeah, that's really what I've got. So, moving on to the giveaway. What we had last week was this beautiful heart in hand wool whimsy. This is part of a series, so if you look on the back, there's all these different ones that are available. This one was chart only. It does not have any of the threads or the wool or whatever else it's supposed to come with, but there's no markings on it either, so sturdy pattern. I will insert my picture here, and congratulations to Patchy Pony Stitcher. Mel, you have won this chart. And also, if you guys are not watching Mel's channel, you need to. She is, again, Patchy Pony Stitcher. She lives in Australia, and she has got the most adorable horses in the world. They make me miss horse camp. I went to horse camp as a kid. It was the coolest thing ever. So, congratulations, Mel. Get a hold of me either on Instagram or shoot me a message on at the email that's listed below, and give me your info. I'll get this in the mail for you. And for next week, I do not have a giveaway because I am probably not planning on doing a video next week. The reason being, it's my birthday. So, my husband is taking the entire week off. My birthday's on the 2nd. His birthday is on the 2nd. We share a birthday. So my husband and I always make a big deal about it. We've got ice cream cake for breakfast. That way nobody has to cook. Then one of us chooses lunch. The other chooses dinner. We get the free desserts. People give us funny looks because they think we're making it up. Like, it's not both of your birthday. You don't both get free desserts. No, we both get free desserts. It's our birthday. So I will not be making a video next week, but hopefully I will be here the week after. And of course, that all depends on the craziness of what's going on because life. But yeah, pretty much follow along with me on Instagram. If you want to keep up with anything, make sure I'm still alive. I should be posting relatively frequently. I'm the Hufflepuff Stitcher on there. Pretty easy because if you found this channel, then you already know the name. Works well. But that's all I have for you this week. So until I see you in a couple weeks, keep it magical, guys. Bye.